Hey, everyone, good morning. It's Monday, January 12th. Here we are, Ball Cap Bible Study. I got Bucky and I are wearing the same hat today, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. We're on the full armor of God, but I want to back up just a minute and talk about just the book of Ephesians, just for maybe 90 seconds. When you go through and you read what Paul is writing to that church in Ephesus, one, he gives thanks to them. It's obvious that it feels close to them, and he prays constantly for them. But he also Paul never writes just by accident or to say hello. He, at least in the letters that made it into the Bible, the epistles, um, he always writes with a purpose. He's writing to the Corinthians or the Galatians or the Colossians, whoever, for a reason, a specific reason. And when you go through the Ephesians, you see that they're obviously struggling with worldly issues. He's defining grace and faith and how those work together, and even talks a little bit about like James, and then you're expected to produce some good works. That's the evidence of your faith and things like that. But you also see in there he describes the riches of Christ and the riches of God and the riches of heaven, on and I mean several times. And so you also see that he really gets on to the Ephesians for um, engaging in worldly behavior and ungodly things. Now, this is the same Paul. It's not in this book, but it's the same Paul that said all things are permissible, but they're not beneficial. But there's some other stuff. I mean, when he even defines marriage here, and then he talks about the unity of the body, and not everybody can be a preacher, kind of thing, because some are called as this and some are called as that, and everybody has a role in the body of Christ and all these things. So obviously what's going on is people in the church, or the church culture, is getting too much like the secular culture. And that's why before he describes the full armor of God, he talks about our war is not with flesh and blood. The people are not the enemy. Spiritual things, evil forces are the enemy. So I just wanted to, one, it's not very long. I mean, it's easily read and perused. And I want you to get this overall view of Ephesians, because it sounds like the stuff the church is struggling with today. The definition of marriage, pursuit of money, greedy pastors, the all the different things that the world does. Like, we love Toby Keith, but red Solo cup and bar hopping is not what the church ought to be about. But I do believe he was a man of faith, and came to a relationship with the Lord. But anyway, beyond that, we see Paul talking about, just like, this is the day after the Super Bowl. By the way, first three quarters of the Super Bowl, worst Super Bowl I've ever watched in my life. I mean, those guys look like junior high kids out there. Couldn't hold the ball, couldn't catch a pass, kept getting sacked. But then the last quarter and the overtime, wow, that was the best Super Bowl I've ever seen. There were 4 lead changes in the last 25 minutes. So it was crazy. But anyway, off the Super Bowl, other than, well, doesn't that match with what Paul was saying, that I'm not criticizing, say it's right or wrong, but it wasn't too many years ago that you wouldn't shut down church because of the Super Bowl. So there are a lot of churches now that don't even do Sunday nights. So I'm blessed. We're blessed to still be able to have the opportunity to get together. So I would encourage you to come on Sunday nights. There's lots of things going on, and we can we can have a lot of fun. Also, the early bird special, if you guys want to come at 4 p.m. In the lecture hall upstairs, we have a good Bible study. We're just about to start the New Testament, so we'll walk all the way through that, one book per week. So I'll take 27 weeks plus the intro. We'll take a week or two off so I can go on vacation or during the revival, things of that nature. So we will have a good time. Okay, that's 4 p.m. upstairs. We get out in time for dinner, and then you can start driving home before it gets dark if that is a need. And that's why we have it, because there are people who are in choir or just don't want to wait for 3 hours until they get to go home, or don't need to be home before 8 p.m., whatever. So it's just an opportunity for you to do a deep dive Bible study. We have a good time. All right, so Ephesus, multicultural center of commerce and trade, lots of languages. So, in some ways, Oklahoma's a lot like Ephesus, crossroads of America, lots of things going on. People coming through from everywhere. You see all sorts of tags from different states here. But even beyond that, Ephesus was, the church at Ephesus was struggling with some role definitions of the people in the church. And that's where Paul had to say, hey, one body. I came to speak to the Gentiles, and you need to stop acting like them. So things like that. Now, here we go. It's a battle. Spiritual warfare is real. And that's what Paul is emphasizing. He's closing out. It's just the first half or third of the close of the book or the letter, about the full armor of God. But he reminds them at the end as he closes, our battle is not with flesh and blood. We've talked about what things, that girdle or that belt, gird your loins with truth, put on the breastplate of righteousness. Now it says, shod your feet. All right, you ready? Let's look at it. All right, here we go. And having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. The gospel of peace. Shod your feet. Now, this is definitely, look around. There are no barefoot soldiers. Matter of fact, they wear steel-toe boots today. Back then, they had, and some guys you'll see out in the field in like special forces, they wear knee pads and shin guards and all sorts of stuff. When I worked for a certain agency, we used to have to suit up to do things, and we would have knee pads and shin guards and big stomping boots and stuff like that. But it's important. I don't know if you've ever watched soccer, but those guys get kicked in the shins all the time, and in high school and grade school and all, they have to wear shin guards under their socks. It hurts. But even beyond that, your feet. I worked in a factory one time, and I took the raw sheet metal and would bend it and form it and punch holes in it and send it off to the welders and stuff. And that was a steel-toe boot required place. And I had on gloves, and the sheet metal had oil film on it. It was hard to hold. Well, I had it, I was holding on to it, and I was kind of holding it out away from me, and it slipped. It slid down through my fingers, and it landed right on the top of one of my feet. It landed just this side of the steel toe part, and man, it felt like I cut my foot off, but then it felt like I broke two of those top bones on that instep, that top part of your foot. Oh, it hurt so bad. Matter of fact, I set it down, and then I had to sit down. It was, it hurt. I don't know if you ever had that dull pain of a bone bruise, or when it feels like you've broken a bone. I promise I thought I broke my bone, or it had cut through skin or something. It didn't. But it hurt. It was sore for a long time. And so, shod your feet. Why is it important spiritually? Remember, these are all metaphors. Why is it important spiritually to have some good foot protection. I think the whole armor of God speaks to expectations of God. That He expects us to carry the truth before us. He expects us to have these righteous, selfless hearts. He expects us to protect our feet so that we can carry the gospel of peace. I remember, I don't know if Charlie and Shirley Smith ever watched these videos, but we used to go play volleyball at their house all the time. And when I was leading college ministry, Charlie had built a volleyball court at his house. I mean, just unbelievable. And it was so much fun. We'd go out there on Thursday nights and we'd have 20, 30, 35 kids out there. We'd play volleyball, then we'd have a devotion, then we'd play more volleyball. But it only took you one time to learn that if the ball went out in the grass, and they lived in kind of in the country by a river in Canadian County, if the volleyball went outside the sand court and out into the grass, it only took you one time to know you better put on some shoes, because the first time you went out there, you came back with about 17 stickers in your feet. Oh. And when you pull a sticker out and it itches, I mean, it was like, oh, ow, 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 ooh, ooh. So anyway, it was funny. But there's an expectation God has. Paul wouldn't have written this if it wasn't true, if that wasn't there. All right, listen to it again. He says, and having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. So one, shod your feet, metaphor, word picture. Think of the guys that put horseshoes on horses. One, they have to prepare the hoof, don't they? They sit there and they file and they clean. You've ever seen them dig all that hoof cheese or dirt and stuff out of the horse's little foot? I mean, I don't know even how wild horses do it, but and then they shod their feet. So they prepare, and then they shod, and then the horse is ready to what? Go. And of course, that's in the Great Commission, the big word, go. It's the big little word, right? Go. So it reminds me of what Paul said in Romans. Many of you know this, but it just, wow, it's, Paul's reaching back into the bag. And in Romans 10:15, it says, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. You see how that works? That's pretty cool. How beautiful are the feet that preach the gospel of peace. But you've got to be prepared. You've got to be ready. And you've got to, you can stay home and be barefoot, but to get out there in the world, and we're talking about this guy, our soldier, all geared up, ready to go. I can't wait till we get to the next one, but I'm not going to steal my own thunder. So I guess that's the question and the challenge, and we'll close with this. Are you prepared? Are you ready? Peter said, always be ready, always be prepared to give a defense for the hope that is within you when asked. So are you prepared? Are you wearing the foot protection so that you can go and not step on stones and rocks and stickers and glass, and because it's out there. All that stuff is out there, in a metaphoric sense, metaphorically speaking. So all that's out there, but guess what? It won't matter if you're prepared and your feet are shod with ready to preach the gospel of peace. So preparation is a big deal. You won't see a horseshoer just rip a horseshoe off and slap a new one on. He cleans that foot. So look at Ephesus, what Paul's trying to say in an overall sense, an overarching sense, and then are you girded up? Are you wearing are you covered? Is your heart covered? And are your feet prepared and have foot protection on them and ready to go? If you've ever hurt your foot, I'll finish with this story because it was funny. You ever caught your little toe on something, piece of furniture? I was walking through the living room one time and I caught my pinky toe on the coffee table. I thought I ripped it off. Oh man, it hurt so bad. I'm hopping up and down. And my wife, Rachel, came out with this amazing wisdom. She comes out, concerned. What's wrong? Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I just got my foot. And then she goes, it's okay. It'll feel better when it stops hurting. And I'm like, no kidding. So then the verse from Proverbs came to mind. An excellent wife, who can find? So, oh, hey, look, Sable joined us. Hey, Sable, say hi. There's Sable. Whoop, where is she? There she is. Sable the cat. The virtual background is blurring us out. All right, that's all I got. Go get those uh, feet prepared and shod and get ready. Be ready because you're going to be asked if you. And here's the thing: no, we're not really wearing helmets and all that stuff, but and carrying shields, but it should look like it. People should be able to see that we're geared up, that we look different, we're walking differently, and people should ask us, and we should be prepared and not when trying to walk up to somebody and then step on a nail. All right. That's it. That's enough. I've gone too long. Love you guys. Have a great one. Bye.